The kingdom of Estria has been plunged into violent darkness after the gruesome murders of the royal family. Only the youngest of King Arden's children, Prince Aelios, survived the coup. Allura Nextia, the former leader of the Righteous Order, assumed her position at the head of the Black Syndicate, vying for the crown. Our brave heroes have fought against these forces of evil as they have encountered them, even becoming full members of the fractured and once mighty Righteous Order. Arna, Stolveg, Ollie, Eden, Aphelion, and Ugg restored hope after rescuing Aelios from near capture by the Syndicate, and returned him to those loyal to the Righteous Order. The battle may have been won, but a war still brews. Can 6 heroes make the difference in the fight between the forces of good and evil? In desperate need for allies, Balnar and Dalios, leaders still loyal to the proper crown, asked our heroes to travel to the neighboring kingdom of Cambria, and through whatever means necessary, solidify an alliance with Queen Isabella. As they traveled through the Ren Sea, Eden, the Triton paladin, encountered a fellow Triton floating in the waters. Shocked to find out that Finn is no stranger, the cousin of her great mentor, the priest Nolos.
Nolos has been kidnapped. The queen has had visions of you and your companions. The acolytes within the capital have determined that you are instrumental in finding Nolos and the coming conflict that the soothsayers warn about.
Our heroes ventured into the water depth, feeling that the pressing need of the Tritons warranted a detour from their diplomatic mission, and the Tritons may make an excellent ally. After performing investigations within the capital, our heroes discovered Nolos had several breakthroughs regarding the location of the Signa of Eldoth, an artifact of immense power that has been missing for millennia. Portions of these breakthroughs occurred in the Estrian libraries within Ethos. However, the Syndicate monitored his activities and planted a spy who aided him while reporting his every move and discovery. Now the Syndicate plans to procure the item for themselves, having taken Nolos and Veshna hostage. Our heroes, attempting to close ground with the Syndicate, took a shorter yet more perilous route, entering the area noted by Nolos' research as the Great Descent. As Stolvag began to swim towards the cavernous void, he spotted a massive, monstrous fish of a bloody purple color, flashing 4 massive, knobby fangs and glaring wantedly with the eyes of a starved predator. Stolvag wasted no time and took action, engaging the monstrosity. The debates of the existence of Ol Stillhead have waged on within the taverns of Voderos for decades. The old, drunk, one-armed Gusulavan goes on a drunken tirade every other Tuesday.
Of course he's real. I looked the beast right in his googly eye. An eye bigger than your head. Had he not bitten my arm clean off, surely I wouldn't have escaped.
Most in Voderos think he is crazy and drunk, but just because you're crazy and just because you're drunk doesn't mean you're wrong. Should Eden and our heroes survive long enough to set foot back in the capital, they can happily confirm Gustulavan's stories, for Ol Stillhead turned these massive eyes on the party as they descended. Stolveg took a defensive position between the fish that swam in stature more proudly than many homes back in Dorum. Arna and Eden protected the other flank from the assault of a rather aggressive and larger green trapper. Ollie, loving the challenge of a worthy foe, or simply being void of the brains to know better, met Ol Stillhead directly, letting out a violent scream of rage, and attacking with wild reckless. Surprisingly to no avail, missing the creature of legend several times. Ol Stillhead tasted barbarian for the first time, but Ollie managed to squirm out of his mammoth gullet before he could be swallowed into a fate that surely must be worse than death. Meanwhile, other creatures smelled blood in the water and circled for their long-awaited dinner. The bugbear fighter Ugg moved in to assist Ollie with the task of taking down the creature of legend. Cleaving several blood-inducing blows with his trusted halberd, after several frustrating rounds with the beast, Ollie took a more precise approach and scored a critical blow, skewering old Steelhead's googly eye and thrusting his weapon deep into the creature's surprisingly small brain. A massive bottom feeder started to ascend and close on Stolvig, being attracted to the beautiful shining plate armor adorned by the Tempest Cleric of Grolf. Stolvig, Arna, and Eden closed ranks in the center of the melee, strategically summoning spirit guardians, overlapping one another and doing immense amounts of damage to the instinct-driven predators. Ugg bravely ventured away from the party to meet the whiskered gray and slimy muck dweller. After having several hunks of flesh bitten off by the muck dweller, one could simply say that Ugg got catfished. Meanwhile, their most dangerous foe yet advanced around a large stone pillar, elegantly shooting up from the ocean floor. Lockjaw's bone bike ridged back sent water violently away from him as he swiftly closed on the party of heroes. Having his fill of the muck dweller, Ugg recklessly moved to confront Lockjaw, while the rest of the party descended in force upon the muck dweller. The protective spirits of Stolvig, Arna, and Eden ripped open the gray, silky flesh. In addition, Ollie let out a guttural yell as he landed a fatal blow, slicing the beast's stomach open, freeing several smaller fish from its innards. Ugg fell back with the party, who united engaged Lockjaw in an epic combat. The beast's massive tail swung through the water with such force our heroes were bludgeoned and thrown towards the rocky pillars or into the watery abyss, only to swim back and re-engage their seemingly unstoppable enemy. Lockjaw bit at Stolvig, hitting him cleanly, biting down as hard as he could. The unending fangs of the croc crunched down, piercing the plate mail of the mighty cleric Stolvig and sending the echo of crunching metal through the nearby water. Lockjaw would not release the cleric and merely applied more force for his bite with every passing second. A cloud of diluted blood quickly formed around the now unconscious Stolvig. Fortunately, the life cleric Arna channeled her divinity, restoring life to Stolvig, but sadly not changing his predicament of being firmly caressed in the mighty jaws of this savage force of destruction. Eden advanced upon the wounded Lockjaw. Seeing an opening, the paladin of Eldath drove her sword under the fin of the beast, piercing its heart, killing it instantly. The rest of our heroes managed to pry Stolvig out of his mouth and continued their descent, not wanting to linger in such an active area. The summoned spirits caused substantial damage to the onslaught of hungry sharks that attacked without end as the party continued their descent. Reaching the bottom near the desired cavern, Ugg spotted plate mail partially covered by sand that shone with a magical hue, although he did have to evict a crab that had found a lovely home within the helmet. As Ugg examined what he hoped would be his new armor, the rocky portions of the sea bottom began to move, revealing lesser earth elementals that quickly attacked the party. To make matters worse, a water elemental emerged from the cavern, preventing our heroes from being able to safely advance along their desired path. Stolvig used his magic to control water, creating a void within the top portion of the cavern, and strategically pulling the water elemental away from the party as they handily dealt with the lesser threat of the rock creatures. Ollie, not wanting to wait on the water elemental's return, recklessly jumped into the void, taking bludgeoning damage as the sting of the watery surface below slapped harshly against the barbarian's bare chest. What had been a maddening melee from all directions now fell eerily quiet. The party looted the plate and found a cache of natural occurring underwater diamonds. Eden, who was brutal on the battlefield but thoughtful in the kitchen, gathered 50 pounds of meat from Lockjaw, believing rightly that this meat may contain magical properties to prepare dishes in the future. Although the group wanted to move with urgency to procure the artifact before the syndicate, they encountered several creatures seeking assistance. A beautiful mermaid swam toward them frantically. "Please, help me. My husband is trapped in the caverns, and if I swim all the way back to my village, I'm afraid he will be dead before we return." Despite having to travel 2 hours out of their way, our heroes answered the call for help. Ollie and Ugg managed to lift the boulder, pinning the merman, and Arna quickly provided much needed healing. Back on the proper track, Stolvig spotted a 20-pound crab who surprisingly greeted the group with a deep, gravelly voice.
Please, I'm a sailor, and I need to break the sea hag's curse. and must eat the petal of the underwater dragon flower. It only blossoms every 10 years. I tried to get it myself, but it's guarded by a large octopus who nearly ate me.
Taking yet another detour, our heroes followed the crab to the area containing the flowers and saw the elegant beast living in the area. Rather than engaging it with hostility, Eden used her magic to speak with animals. "Hello, I am Eden. Might we bargain for some of the petals of your beautiful flower?" "Yes, I'm so hungry. Have you any crabs?" "I have no crabs, but I could offer you some meat from the creature known as Lockjaw." "You killed Lockjaw? Wonderful! He killed so many of my kind. Yes, let me taste that meat. Take the petals you require." Yet again on their path, our heroes met a frantic sea goblin.
"Please, I need help. Filthy little folk took my children's. They plan to take my goblin stew. You must help, Itchy."
The party seemed less convinced and began a rather in-depth moral debate. They were about to agree to help when Stolvig used a powerful spell to commune with his deity, Grolf. This magic allowed him to ask 3 questions that could be answered with a yes or no. Is the cavern magically cursed?
No.
Is the goblin's cause righteous?
No.
Is the goblin trying to trick us?
Yes.
Stolvig held up his warhammer and warned the sea goblin to bugger off. Itchy ran off frantically. The party avoided the sea goblin ambush, for now. Will the party survive the den of monsters? Will the Black Syndicate find the artifact before our heroes and use it to further plunge Estria into darkness? Will Stolvig manage to stay sober for another day? Find out next time in Estria.